She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gets spot show.
Sports can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Right, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the toppies. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
Ooh, welcome back to another episode of Footy with the boys. The boys are Mike. What are you doing right now?
I was gonna do a
The boys are back. We have a lot to cover. It was a weekend in the Premier League. I'll just say that. Some highs and some lows that we'll talk about. And of course, the US men's national team decide to finally release the roster. And we are awaiting that Pochettino news that Mr. Fabrizio Romano provided an update on. We will get to that as well as just kind of previewing that game against Canada here coming up on Saturday. Me and Mike, we decided this weekend that we went out to the field. We were being scouted by Poch, and unfortunately, we were not selected for the roster. Mike, is it safe to say Poch doesn't know ball already?
I don't know if he saw dude. I thought I could offer something. I don't know. There's always room in the squad for a swazzer and a skiller, but apparently not. Not right now.
No,
I'll chalk it up to he hasn't done a whole lot of scouting yet. He needs to get in the weeds a little bit more.
Yeah, unfortunately, if he was at all friends with the guy that was on the field next to us, he may not have appreciated the cardio Mike was putting that man through, unfortunately. But they're certainly trying to swaz out. Boys, big news of the weekend, though, come from none other than the bald man himself, Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United. They are just content kings at this point. They are a content creation club, in my eyes. After this weekend, Liverpool dog walking them to a 3-0 victory. And boys, it could have been a lot more. And that's not just me saying it. It was multiple players on Liverpool, including Mo Salah, saying, yeah, it should have been maybe 5-6. I mean, Ten Hag has come out and said, hey, we are the second most successful team in England other than Man City because they've won 2 trophies. Although an 8th place finish with one of those trophies. But, I mean, is there any big positive, and not a big positive, is there any positive at all for Manchester United at this point? Casemiro looks like a shell of his former self at 32, which is old, but not as old as he's looking. And Erik Ten Hag, god damn it, Manchester United backing him in the summer and re-signing him. But they're having some second thoughts, Mike. What did you think of Manchester United here, demolished by Liverpool?
The fact that Casemiro is only 32 is so depressing. I thought he was like 34, 35. I heard that today. I looked it up. 32, dude. He looks like he doesn't have any legs. He is so slow. And he was really, really bad this week. Obviously, gave the ball away, was to blame for probably 2 of the 3 goals. But the back line made him look even worse because they were dog shit too. Dyche finally gets a start next to Lisandro Martinez. And Man U, the fullbacks, nowhere to be seen. Who would have thought when you have 2 attacking fullbacks, neither of which come back to defend, Dalot and Mazraoui. That's what happens when you have Luis Diaz and Mo Salah occupying the wings. You get burned, and you get burned time and time again. They were nowhere close to being in this match. Kobe Mainu might be young, might have legs, but did the same shit Casemiro did for the 3rd goal. Got caught on the ball. They look horrible. I don't think Manuel Ugarte is going to solve their midfield problems. I think attacking-wise, nothing special either. Rashford didn't do anything this game. Garnacho was anonymous. And Xerxes had a few chances and fluffed his lines on both occasions. So absolutely 0 positives. If you wanted to try to conjure up something, it'd be the fact that it's funny. Ten Hag is a dude. He is a clown. As a Man U hater, as a dude who likes to poke fun, I keep it coming. I love this content.
Yeah. Nick, you were already at a shaky point with Erik Ten Hag in your early support of him and Manchester United's top 4 was your prediction. Where are you at with your feelings on those bad boys?
No, I told you I was 100% out after the Brighton loss. I thought maybe they could win ugly. As soon as they lost to Brighton, I was 100% out. I am no longer tied to that take. That was an old me who hoped Gareth Southgate would be the U.S. men's national team manager. That was me rationalizing things in my head. So old me, new me is loving the
You're in a
downfall.
bad place,
Keep
man.
it coming.
You're in a bad place.
Keep it coming
Bring
for
me
Ten Hag.
Gareth.
He is a clown. I love the comment he made saying about the second best team in England, and then immediately a quote from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking about how, yeah, cups can kind of inflate your ego and mask problems. And so I thought that was hilarious. Listen, he's delusional, but I mean, is there a more delusional fan base in Manchester United? They haven't been a real club since Fergie left. What was that? 12 years ago now? So I don't know, man. I think maybe it's just a match made in heaven, and long may it continue.
Yeah, it's certainly something. I will say the one positive you can't take is Casemiro's wife posting a picture of all of Casemiro's trophies, all won at Real Madrid, really. So not really to the
EFL
point
Cup.
of how he's currently playing, but I will say is you want a woman like that will ride and die for you. So hats off to Casemiro. You got a real one there for you.
Friendly reminder. Friendly reminder. He cost 70 million British pounds for Man U to buy him. How do we not shit on it more?
Also,
Brother,
70 million aside, bad performance aside, fuck Ten Hag one time. Pulling Casemiro at halftime, putting the blame on this man because you can. That's the ultimate hiding under the covers move. This dude's ego is enormous, and he continues to have problems with every single one of his high-profile players. How is this guy still the manager? I get that there is not many options on the manager market currently, but this dude is a goon and definitely not a manager who can manage the size of a club like Manchester United.
At this point, do you at all not put as much blame on Casemiro? Because with Erik Ten Hag, since he's come in, have you seen a single player really perform above their level at all? I mean,
no.
Sancho came in, he's killing it at Dortmund, comes to Manchester United, sucks, goes back to Dortmund, and is immediately good again. Is it just a desolate wasteland here with Erik Ten Hag that talent just isn't going to look good?
Yes, it is a desolate wasteland. That's a great way to describe it. But to be fair, Casemiro was declining at Madrid. He had two of the greatest midfielders ever to partner him. He go back because I don't think he was ever actually like a ball player. Like he just was a destroyer. And as soon as the legs went out, that was kind of the end of his career. The decisions he makes on the ball is absolutely ridiculous. Maybe they're placing too much build-up responsibility for him, I guess, but also he can't run anymore and he's making shit decisions. So he just shouldn't be on the pitch. That's the only way that Casemiro can avoid blame, because he looks awful every time he plays, and somehow he's still in the starting 11 every single week.
Every player's
older and going to a more physical league. Maybe not the move he should have made. But boys, we'll get off Manchester United. If you are a fan, sorry, we are absolutely fucking kicking you while you're down. We are, in fact, just punting it around because it is just Manchester United at this point. Okay. All right, but boys, we move in to our favorite teams here, the Gunners and the Toffees, and this is going to be a segment. I'll just preface it with that. We will start with Arsenal, Nick, and Mike can't even stand it. That's how upset he is about some of the things that happened in this game. Arsenal won, Brighton won. I mean, listen, we can talk about a lot of things that happened in the game, but I think the thing that people want to talk about the most is, of course, the Declan Rice controversy. What happened there? He's walking by, hits the ball, which, yes, prevents the restart. Technically a yellow card on pen and paper.
Oh, my God.
But gets fucking ripped. Gets absolutely fucking ripped in the legs with a kick for a free kick. Let's not be fucking stupid. The ball is rolling. There's zero chance he's taking that free kick. He's punting through a player. The fact that there is not a red card, not a yellow card, but absolutely nothing done to Brighton. And instead, the yellow card goes for the slight tap to the ball, which, listen, I understand what the rule is. if that gets called in every game, there's about 7 yellow cards every fucking game for that shit because it was still rolling. He's not kicking it away and punting it or anything. Nick, when this happened, what do you think? And then how big of an impact does it have? Because, I mean, it's all speculation, but do Arsenal get the extra 2 points from this one if they have the extra player here?
Listen, you're 100% right. There's a lot of things to talk about in this game, and 2 points aren't all 3 points. This isn't the only moment, but it is a defining moment because you can talk about, Arsenal missed some chances early. You can talk about they fell apart with 10 men. You can't allow that kind of goal to go in. Party should have been tracking back. You can talk about they had chances to score. They should have maybe scored 1 or 2 after to win the game. But the reality is no one gives a shit, and it doesn't matter because this is absolutely atrocious. I mean, yeah, the visual right here that you have is bad, but this is nowhere near the worst thing, okay? The ball is, first of all, it's not a foul on Declan Rice, the whistle that it actually whistles. Then Veltman pushes the ball forward. Well, if we're doing by the letter of the book, the ball is still rolling, and therefore you cannot have a restart, okay? And so him tapping it to the side wouldn't even affect anything, okay? So right there, it should have never even been considered in the first place. Not to mention that in the first half, João Pedro just absolutely boots a ball after it goes out of bounds, 50 yards down the field, no card, nothing. All of Arsenal's team, Mikel Arteta, it happens right next to the third official too. All of them are asking for a yellow card, doesn't get it. And now we're going to call this bullshit yellow card in the second half of a game where Arsenal is completely in control. Brighton were just, I mean, I know they've been coached well or whatever, but they were a class below this game, and you could see it the entire way. And then with the red card, everything changes. So Chris Kavanagh has such fucking main character energy. This is the same guy who gave Martinelli 2 yellows in the same phase of play. Same guy who gave Tomiyasu a second yellow for taking 3 seconds on a throw-in. Like, what are we doing? This is clear and blatant corruption from a ref who's trying to do way too much, trying to over-official this game. Palmer, I don't know if you saw the tweet that I sent to just now, but there was a guy on Twitter going through a counter for that next day's games, for Sunday's games. Kulusevski, Gahey, Kukurea, Porro, Joelinton, Palmer, Bruno, Dallo, all kicked the ball after a ball or a whistle was on the field. None of them received yellow cards for it. Okay, let's go back to last week, by the way, 2 weeks ago, against Wolves. It didn't matter. We get 3 points. But Kai Havertz gets fucking chokeslammed into the ground. And then, wasn't like Jesus gets something up his ass at some point. No yellow cards given. Like, what? There is a clear bias against Arsenal. And I don't whatever. I'm an Arsenal fan. You think I'm biased? I guess I am. But there is no way that all of us are looking at the same thing and not coming to the same conclusion. That this was blatant corruption from the ref. Declan Rice gets a second yellow, comes out and apologizes. I love Dex. He's a stand-up guy, but that's bullshit. You don't apologize for that. It's absolutely ridiculous. It changes. Guys, how we lost by 2 points the title last year to City. And look at what City's doing right now. Like, we just dropped 2 points. It already feels like the season is over. Like, it's such... I know we're in match week 3. I get it, but what an absolute just shit show. And if it comes down to this, because let's not forget, last year, they said, oops, we forgot to draw the line with Brentford when Ivan Toney scored a winner. You forgot to draw the lines? Okay, that's 2 points. We lost the league by 2 points last year. Okay, like the Gamerish red card when he elbowed Jorginho in the head. That's another game that was a tie. Like, we are dropping points because these officials are incompetent, and there is absolutely nothing to hold them accountable. There is nothing to do about it, but just continue bitching on a podcast, and nothing is going to change. We know the end of this script, and it seems mighty fucking strange that it never seems to go against a Man City team, a Newcastle team. Draw your own fucking conclusions, but I think it is ridiculous. This one is the most egregious of them all. I have no idea how you give that second yellow, and anyone who's saying that it is a second yellow, you're a fucking pussy, dude. I get you hate Arsenal, whatever. Toxic fan base is what it is, but you are a moron because it's going to take every single club calling out these refs for this shit to finally stop. And all this inner division is only going to make it worse. The only guy who gets a pass for saying it's okay is Fabian Hortzler. After the game, he's like, oh, you can't compare the João Pedro kick to the Declan Rice one. Listen, buddy, it's your 3rd week in the Premier League. You don't know how these refs will fuck you over. Big Ange did the same thing last year. in about 4 weeks, I guarantee Fabian Hurtzler is going to be like, oh, these refs incompetent. So he's new to the league. I'll give him a pass, even though what he said was stupid. We lost 2 points. We lost 2 points in a title race that could very well come down to 2 points, as it did last year. And it feels like there's no one else to blame but the refs.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the ref, Mike, if you're calling that goddamn critical, straight to the point, if you want to be the star, like Nick said, he put himself at the center of attention. I hate when refs do that. I want the ref to not be mentioned. I don't want to know the ref's name at all. That is usually when you know, okay, the ref did a good job. He made himself the name by calling so critically on that little touch by Declan Rice. Then do you not have to then the wildly violent conduct then by Brighton to punt through a player's legs when you obviously cannot be taking the free kick at that point? I mean, is that not obvious violent conduct there as well?
No, I don't think there's anything there.
Oh my God.
Well, you don't
I think it's a bullshit.
You're such a troll, bro. Shut up.
No. I'm not a troll. The way I view it is, yeah, it's dumb. Dex should never receive a second yellow there. It changes the game. It's unnecessary. And we don't see that called very frequently. The one criticism I have for Declan Rice is why? I mean, why touch the ball whatsoever? He does it intentionally.
I'll tell you why.
It's very slight.
I'll tell you why.
But he does it. He does it.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
And if you know that a referee doesn't like you because Arsenal's win percentage is low with Chris Kavanagh, that is a fact. They obviously talked about it before the game. Mikel Arteta definitely mentioned it to his players. And you could see from his reaction on the sideline, he was absolutely fucking pissed that Dex did this because he knows it's a mistake. He knows the margins are this tight and he has higher expectations for his players. Don't put yourself in a position where the referee can impact the game. That's my 2 cents about it.
You got this all wrong.
Brighton should be punished at all. No yellow, no red, nothing for that. There's nobody in their straight mind that thinks you can. I mean, he can't take the free kick there. The ball is rolling. So he's obviously not trying to, and he just swings through the person's legs. Not even a yellow.
Mike, what happens right before Dex pokes it away? What happens right before Dex pokes it away?
The ball's set. It's still moving.
No, it is not sat. Veltman kicks the ball forward. He touches the ball forward. The same amount of force that Rice used to touch the ball to the right. And so, by the letter of the law, you can't take that free kick. So if you're calling it by the letter of the law, this still shouldn't be a yellow because the ball is still in motion. He kicks it forward and it hits Dex's leg. That's why he pokes it away, because it hit him in the leg. So what? This is a nothing argument. Nothing argument.
I'm not saying that the referee got it right. I'm saying that Dex needs to be smarter. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying by the letter of the law, even if you want to be a complete stickler for every little thing, and why are you putting yourself in that position? If you're a complete stickler for every little thing, then you cannot restart play while it's in motion.
I'm not. I'm playing devil's advocate a bit.
I think
saying
the argument is
that Arsenal
why is Declan
have
Rice
to be
around
smarter.
it?
Because he kicks it into
put himself in
That's
that
why
position.
Declan Rice is around it.
No, he plays it. He knows what he's doing.
No.
This is a
He does
wishy
know what
wearing
he's
argument.
He knows what he's doing.
Yes, he knows what he's doing, but what is Veltman doing? Does Veltman know what he's doing when he pokes the ball forward and hits Dex's
I
leg?
don't care what Velt's been doing. I'm talking about Declan.
You're acting, though, like Veltman got fouled and then never touched the ball after the whistle went. Veltman's the first guy to touch the ball after the whistle.
Not acting like that. No.
Then why isn't he getting a yellow card for kicking the ball forward?
Because Dex put himself in a position where Chris Kavanagh can make that impact, and Chris Kavanagh has the ego and the impetus to say, hey, now I could fuck him over. He gave him a reason to. Simple as that.
There is not even that argument in my mind is not even valid because, again, like he is not the one who touches the ball forward first. He doesn't touch the ball forward first. How can you possibly say that if he's not the first one who's actually moving the ball after the whistle plays?
You could say, Nick, why is Declan Rice remotely close to that? Because if you're that close to any free kick,
we're just in a battle. He's got a foul called.
Let's say he's within those 10 yards, blocks the free kick, just walking by. Why is he that close? Just run back. No.
Oh my God. No. I'm gonna find this video because you guys clearly haven't seen it closely enough. Here's what happens. Rice is on Veltman's back trying to win the ball, and they call a foul. I don't think it's a foul, but whatever. They call a foul. It's in their own half, whatever. They can take it. And then as Veltman is getting up from the foul, He kicks the ball forward and it hits Dek's leg. After it hits his leg, then he pokes it away. Why? The ball is moving the entire time, and Veltman's the first one to play it after the whistle. How in the right mind is it by the book? Again, we all agree it's stupid to give the second yellow there, but even by the book, he should not be receiving a card there.
Yeah. Well, let us know in the comments what you think. Was it a second yellow? Was it a potential red by Brighton alone for that kick? What was Declan Rice doing? What do you think was the right call there? And should the refs maybe be a little bit smarter on some of their calls here to not be so at the center of attention for games? Mike, we'll move on to Everton here. I don't really know how to really talk about this one. Everton looked good for a good amount of this game, had a good commanding 2-0 lead. And then potentially the worst comeback in Premier League history, starting in the 87th minute. Bournemouth score to make it 2-1. And then they score again to make it 2-2. And I thought, fuck, this is pretty awful. And then they score again, Mike, to make it 3-2. Everton still stuck on 0 points after leading 2-0 and looking like the better side. It wasn't that Bournemouth looked the better side and they finally got it to go their way. Everton just completely shit the bed at the 86th, 87th minute mark. What next? Because it's not that Everton played god-awful the entire time and there's nothing to take, but how can you take anything other than more negativity? Because even when we do play good, we still fucking lose.
2 words. Game management. 2 words that Sean Dyche has apparently never heard in his entire fucking life. Because what the hell? Substitutions make no sense. We pissed this game away. I mean, I'm pissed at the players primarily, but Dyche got this completely wrong. If you pull it up, the 2 substitutions made in this game for Everton were an 83rd midfield substitute. Decore comes on for Ndiaye. And then an 88th minute Beto for Dominic Calvert-Lewin when we're up. How is that seeing out a game when our fullbacks are gassed? When Mikolenko's not tracking anybody anymore? 40,000-year-old Seamus Coleman's not tracking anymore. Couldn't take the pace anyway for the rest of the match. Those are the subs we make to see out a game. I mean, it's laughable. The goals that we scored this game, fantastic. Really great play. I thought Michael Keane's finish off the corner was great. And I thought Dom's goal was a piece of class. Good ball from Dwight McNeil. And he dinks the keeper. Best goal I've seen him score in a long, long while. Great to see. And then this happens. Semenyo's goal, yeah, that happens. You would like to keep the 2-goal lead. Whatever, 87th goal, shut it down. What do? We make offensive subs and we keep it open. That's what happens when you do that against a team that's slightly better than you. They equalize in the 92nd minute. Okay, we lost our runner on the back post. He's open. No one tracked him. We possibly couldn't do that again. We're going to shut it down, right? No, the same fucking goal happens because no one knows how to stick with their man. He's open on the back post. It's an easy chip ball. Pickford's nowhere near it. And there goes all 3 points. Now we're still on 0. I mean, you can't make this shit up. It could happen to any other team. I mean, Everton is the only team that could give up a 2-goal lead in the 88th minute and proceed to lose the game. I don't know what to make of it. Sean Dyche has to be out. He got every single thing wrong in this match, from the starting 11 to the substitutions to tactics. It's all bad. Do I think we'll win a game this season? Unlikely. To be seen, because if we can't win that one, what game can we win? Bournemouth, uninspiring all game, and we let them hang around until the last 5 minutes of the match, and they can walk away with 3 points. What am I missing here?
I mean, we're already in a relegation battle 3 games in. It was already a relegation battle to me, like, after week 2. I was thinking we need every fucking point possible. And you go into Bournemouth, or You're up 2-0. 3 points for Everton this season is massive. 3 points in a relegation scrap is massive. And you didn't just piss away 2 points and give up a draw, but you gave up all 3. You're still set at absolutely 0. You have Aston Villa next. You're going to fucking get trounced in that one because Aston Villa are just a much, much better side. Thank God it's an international break, so we don't have to watch them again, but holy shit, it's time to figure some stuff out. And it feels like Sean Dyche is having to be walked into using any of the new signings, if at all. I mean, Dyche comes in and he looks good at that position, but it took to the third game and a cup game for him to be convinced to make any of those new signings really a part of the squad. I think it's just such a massive missed opportunity. Nick, do you have any thoughts from the outside here?
Yeah. Listen, I think there's a lot, right? Really quickly though, question: what is a successful season this year looks like? What?
15th.
Fucking staying up, apparently.
Just avoid relegation, right?
Yeah.
So what's the light at the end of the tunnel? Is Everton just now a relegation fighting team year in and year out? Like, is there a point where we're gonna have a turnaround? Like what?
Well, John Textor is coming in, who owns Botafogo and part of Lyon, and we have the new stadium, so that will increase revenue. So we're going to be able to have the money from a new owner, the money from a new stadium that's going to be able to produce revenue on its own. So there is a light, but you need to get through the season.
Yeah, I've been hearing about this takeover forever. Is that actually happening or no?
He had to sell off his stake in Crystal Palace, so it's taken a while. But
it looks like
he loaned us a player from Lyon already, so he's kind of starting the interwebs already.
Okay, then I would say like have that done for sure by the summer, right? Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Then the only thing that matters this year is avoiding relegation. Now it is doom and gloom. You just gave up, like it is horrible. But let's just look at the table still. We are point out. It is not like we are dead in the water just yet. So what has to change then? Because Mike just came on here and said he's officially Sean Dyche out. Is that the stance of the Footy with the Boys podcast? Is that what I need to be doing?
It's fucking management 101. I mean, you can't do that. What you look at the game, anybody, you could be sitting on the couch. You could never watch soccer before. Idrissa Gana Gueye is fucking gassed. We haven't made a midfield substitution all game. Both of our fullbacks are gassed. They're not tracking anymore. Okay, we've made 2 subs. We have 3 at our disposal. We have James Garner sitting on the bench rotting away. We have Ashley Young. We have Roman Dixon, the young kid who actually looked good the other day when we got killed by Tottenham. Are we going to use any of them? Fuck no. We're going to leave all our guys out there to get their ass beat, get ran by, and concede 3. I mean, it is ridiculous. I can give Sean Dyche a pass. I thought he did a great job with what we were given last season, but this is inexcusable. I mean, these are the basics, the fundamentals of management, and he got them all wrong.
So officially Dyche out.
It's not just that. Yeah, I think it's time for Dyche to go. I think you need to right the ship because I think he's not using any of the new signings, none of the investment that we've made. And it's shown that when we are using the investment, those players are playing well. He's, like Mike said, not making the substitutions. And his whole thing, his entire career is made up of being such an insanely good defensively stout team that can sit back the low blocks, the Dyche low blocks that led Burnley to staying in the league and their performances. The defense has given up 3 or more in every single fucking game. 3 in the last, 7 minutes, including stoppage time, in one game to lose a game after being 2-0 up. Defensively, it's not there. And if that's what you're coming in as the coach, yes, the basics aren't there, but your identity is completely down the shitter as well. There is no identity with Everton right now. I can't think of a single thing they've done that I think that is Everton other than just shit play, just punting it up there and hoping.
I think those are 2 incredibly valid points. 3. Mike's point, yes. I don't know how you are analyzing the game as you go and making those substitutions. And I think that is, I can chalk that up as you did a bad job that game. That was a F- coached game. Okay. the things that are worrying me the most about Everton is what Flags just said. Okay. It is not so much. Yes, Everton just don't have the talent right now. If we can get through the summer and get some more investment, then maybe we can build this thing up back to be like a top 6 contender like they used to be. But the real worry is they don't have an identity. Which, if you don't have an identity, then what is your coach doing? And we are 3 weeks into this bad boy now, with only Ndiaye really having any sort of real playing time, and it came in this last week of the new signing. Okay, Michael Keane is still being rolled out there. We have actual attacking talent on the bench, and somehow he's not using it. Just give it a shot. To me, this is from an outside perspective, if we want to be Dyche out, I'm on board right now. I'll sign the petition. But to me, for the October international break, because right now he has a week off, he can integrate these new signings and really come back, and maybe we can see some changes. But if the October international break, it is still the same story. We are now 6 weeks into the season. Then I don't think there's any other option but to fire him. You can't keep him and still call yourself a serious club. And yeah, I don't know who you would go and get for that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Southgate would take it. I don't know, but I have no idea who you would hire, and it almost doesn't matter because you just need someone with a new voice in there to give these boys something that they should be working towards, an identity to play as. And right now, Flags nailed it. They look like a team that doesn't know what they're doing.
We have had identity theft.
We have had identity theft. Jared Branthwaite coming back. Will that solve some of the issues? God, I hope so. Tim Everett Boonham has actually played quite a bit, him and Ndiaye. So those two new guys. Oral Mangala just coming into the club, as Flags mentioned, from Lyon on a transfer, bolsters up the midfield a bit. Hopefully that helps. So there are a few things that give me like glimmers of hope, but the inexcusable thing is what we mentioned, the lack of subs, Michael Keane starting when we have Jake O'Brien on the bench. We spent a significant amount of money on, who's a talented prospect. And I get not rushing a guy in. I get Premier League experience. Those are valid points. But 3 games in a row conceding this many goals is indicative of not having a strong back line. So you have to make a change. And he has failed to do that. Next up, Aston Villa. I don't think there are any changes that can be made to prepare us for that game. But God, I hope I see something.
Last question for both of you. Really quickly, just last question for both of you. And Mike, I can ask you first, but like for 86 minutes of this game, Everton were up 2-0. Is there any positives that we're taking from this game?
Ndiaye.
Yeah, we scored 2 great goals. I mean, especially the second goal. That's fantastic play. But unfortunately, anything that was positive goes away when you lose a game in this fashion.
At the end of the day, it's about the points, and it didn't happen. So Everton, very disappointing there. Let us know if you are a Toffee, what you think they should do here going into this international break. Do they give him, like Nick said, until that October one, see how far he can get, or will that be too far gone if Sean Dyche cannot get some points out of this team? We will go into the Premier League wrap-up. Newcastle took care of business versus Spurs. We talked about this one as a big one. And Newcastle came out on top. Alexander Isak scoring a massive goal there for Newcastle. Manchester City with a 3-1 win versus West Ham. Guess who scored, boys? Erling Haaland. He has 7 goals. Liverpool, as an entire team, are the highest scoring team other than Manchester City. They have 7 goals. He is absurd. Chelsea, coming off their massive win versus Wolves, hit a bit of a speed bump with a 1-1 draw versus Crystal Palace there. Nico Jackson getting on the board with the goal there. Wolves, after getting murdered 6-2, get a point. Get their 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest. Fulham versus Ipswich. Ipswich get their point with a 1-1 draw there. Anthony Robinson with an assist in that one.
I called it.
Brentford, he called it. Ipswich got their first point.
I said I'd get it.
He knows ball.
He
knows ball, guys.
That will be the last one
Brentford,
before December.
Yeah.
That's
well,
hard.
God damn it. Ipswich not looking too hot then. If predictions are correct, like last time for Palmer. The Bees continue to be buzzing with a 3-1 win over Southampton. Southampton looking like they need something here. And Aston Villa continue with a 2-1 win over Leicester City, Leicester. Boys, what game caught your eye? Maybe what headline caught your eye of these rest of the games, Mike?
I have two, so I'll let Nick go first.
All right, Nick.
You bastard. Listen, I mean, you'd think I'd say the Newcastle Spurs one, but Eberechi has a absolute peach of a goal to get that draw versus Chelsea. Chelsea, who Enzo Maresca after the game says, "Hey, we can't expect to win every game." Sounds like small club mentality. So, Chelsea, it was fun having you in the top four in the big four. Have fun in the rest.
Yeah, but now they have Jadon Sancho.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Mike, what caught your eye here?
The Villa game, cagey affair. Amadou Onana ending up on the score sheet again for the second time this season. Where the fuck was that in an Everton shirt? My guy. No, shout out him one time. Shout out John Duran. That dude's going to be hard to keep on the bench.
Fire alum.
Scores his second goal this season as well. It's a great finish. Good season to start for him. But my main one is Man City. They are such a juggernaut. And this scoreline is actually not flattering because they could have scored 5 or 6 or 7. It was just how many. Hit the crossbar, offside goals, you name it, prevented this from being more than 3-1. And Erling Haaland is a robot. If you have not seen the second goal, go check it out. Well-worked goal from all the City players, and then he hits the absolute piss out of the ball. I've never seen a ball fly harder on my screen right next to the goalie, but nothing he could do about it. That dude is definitely going to win the Golden Boot this year. The race has been run.
Yeah, I mean, he's just absurd form. Man City, this is against a West Ham side that, yeah, I mean,
I was bullish on them.
Yeah, they're supposed to provide some type of test for Man City, and Man City just said, nah.
I think I'm still bullish on them. I think City's just a different
Yeah,
power.
I just think City's a different fucking level. I mean, they're absurd here, and potentially Pep and KDB's final season. Boys, that was the Premier League. What a weekend. Now we go into the international break, and we start our U.S. men's national team corner with the roster release for our friendlies up against Canada and Jesse Marsch. And I don't really know the manager of New Zealand, but New Zealand in our two friendlies here. I'm going to run through the roster and then we'll go position by position because there are a lot of explanations that you have to make in this one and a lot that U.S. Soccer themselves released regarding why they do or do not have players in here. Starting with the goalkeepers, we have Ethan Horvath, Diego Kochen, the 18-year-old from Barcelona, Patrick Schulte, and Matt Turner making it there. Defenders, we have Marlon Fossey of Standard Liège in Belgium, Christopher Lund, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Joe Scally, Austin Trusty just made his move to Celtic, and Caleb Wiley. Midfielders, we have Brendan Aronson, Johnny Cardoso, the potential future Tottenham Hotspur player, Luca Della Torre, Aiden Morris, Yunus Musa, Gio Reyna, and Malik Tillman. And finally, our forwards, we have Balogun, Pepe Pulisic, Sargent, and Haji Wright. Boys, let's start with the goalkeepers, because that's where a lot of the talk has been about this roster. And I think rightfully so. A lot of people are saying, who the hell is Diego Kochen? Diego Kochen, 18-year-old goalkeeper, plays for Barcelona B, which is their second team. He is their starter there. He's about third, fourth on the actual Barcelona depth chart, so he's not playing there and certainly not playing over Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who is now the German number one after Neuer retired. But he is described as a retracted center back, likes to play with his feet like a Barcelona man really would. He has plenty of clips of him somewhat dribbling defenders, one clipping it over a defender chasing after him. He is one for the future. And if you're asking why is he here, why is maybe Gaga Slonina not included? Gago Slonina is at Barnsley, which is in League One, the third division, and they do not have an international break. So it would require him missing multiple games for Barnsley. And to be honest, Patrick Schulte, Ethan Horvath, Matt Turner, Diego Cochin, you see 4 of them because we just hired a new head of goalkeeping, Jack Robinson, coming over from the English FA, Liverpool. A lot of high-level experience there. So that's probably why you see 4 goalkeepers coming in, as we just hired a brand new head of goalkeeping. So he wants to get kind of a look at some of these players. Boys, is it maybe a bit early to call in an 18-year-old keeper, or do you think it's just truly because we do have that head of goalkeeping, we're just trying to get a look at him, Mike?
Send it. I appreciate that. I like it.
Where's the
Bring
guy?
in some talent. Let the new goalkeeping coach see these guys hands on. I think that's great. I think it's a good move. Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Move to the defenders. You do see Marlon Fossey in there. He's relatively new here. You do not see Anthony Jedi Robinson, who you would say is probably one of the 2 absolute locks on this team with Pulisic. He is not here because they said he had some slight knocks. He's been playing through all season. This is the second time that's happened with him, where he's stayed at Fulham on an international camp. Nick, a lot of people talked kind of about how Pochettino may be behind some bit of the roster decision. Do you think decisions like Anthony Robinson not being here maybe say that he is not involved in the roster? Because if he was, he'd probably want a look at what is one of the locked-in positions for the team.
I'm not sure if I understand your question, but I don't think it's a big deal that Jedi is not in this roster. I think, listen, I don't think he had his best year for the U.S. men's national team so far. We've talked about that. But is he the best American player right now? Like, I think I think it's Pulisic, to be fair, but I think there's an argument you can make that it's Jedi. Like, he's been absolutely outstanding in Europe for Fulham and for a while. So he's been their best player for arguably like 3 years, really. I know Paulinho was also very good, so I guess you could say him, but Jedi's been amazing. I don't care if he has bad form for the men's national team roster. There's no other name that convinces me that Jedi shouldn't be the left back that starts for us when a game matters. So I don't think it matters at all. If Poch, had a hand, then it was just, hey, let me get a look at a couple of guys who can be Jedi's backup. But it's not anything to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, Jedi is by far and away the first string, and if you're looking at the list, we're gonna get a look at some of them, but it's not necessarily the most convincing names. I know Wiley just made that move to France, so high potential, but nothing really that concrete.
Look at that fucking quad,
moving to the
bro.
midfield. Huh?
Very
Yeah,
good
he's
save,
got
Jack.
Fucking quad.
Tank.
Holy shit.
Jack guy there. That's our left back, god damn it. Going to the midfield. This is another kind of storyline driven midfield. Weston McKennie not included. Tanner Tessman, who maybe not a usual, but based off his recent trajectory, you might think he would have, but he is also not included. Both of them were explained in the U.S. men's national team release that they did not get preseasons because both of them were not part of the project until about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So both of them, they want to keep with the club, give them an actual way to ramp up their fitness rather than just throwing them in. Wes McKennie did get about 30 minutes in Juventus' last game coming on for Locatelli. So you'd argue that maybe he's already playing 30 minutes for Juventus. Why would he not be able to come into camp? Are any of these excuses weird, Mike, that we have 11 camps before the home World Cup and we're saying, well, he didn't get a preseason, so we're just not going to call him in at all. I mean, you don't have to play them. You just bring him in.
I wouldn't think it's weird, except for the fact that Luca Della Torre is in this squad, and he's been kind of abandoned as well by Celta Vigo.
Yeah.
So his club situation is even more unclear than either of theirs, with Tessman finally moving and Weston being reintroduced. So yeah, it really doesn't hold any weight to me. Am I very concerned that they're not included? No. I think the roster will begin to change as Post gets more involved. And we already know who Weston is, so not a big deal on that side. Tessman, a little bit more.
We know who West is.
Generally, we don't always get him
level.
at his best, but
Yeah.
we know what he offers when he's playing at a high mark.
I don't know.
Like as of recent, he's definitely been down. I think Pochettino will need to. That's one player that if you can get the most out of Wes McKennie, that is going to be a big plus. But he's certainly not been playing at his best. So I think he has a bit of redemption that he has to do here. And I mean, we've seen him at his best. He can be crazy good for the U.S., but I mean, yeah, he hasn't been recently.
He's not even that far removed
out.
From playing at a high level. He had a good season at Juventus. We can't forget that.
Very bad summer, though, I will say.
Yes,
He is of the established guard, the established players. I think he's the one most at danger of really being frozen out of this team.
Yeah, like the Jedi, Pulisic, Adams.
Yeah, but even tossing guys like Musa, Richards, Des, like all those guys, I think Weston is the most at risk.
Yeah, I think it's consistency for him. He's not been that consistent player that we need him to be throughout every appearance, and certainly not throughout Copa America. So it will be a big thing, but it is somewhat like a tryout. So now everybody's going to have to be vying for the attention of Pochettino. So we'll see what he can do. We move to the forwards. And what caught my eye here is you don't really have many wingers here. You have Pulisic, and you have Haji Wright, who's been playing on that left wing kind of as a second striker, inverted winger for Coventry. And other than that, you could dip into the midfield with Gio or Malik Tillman. But other than that, you just have three other strikers. And realistically, Haji Wright's somewhat of a striker himself. So Brendo, yeah, I guess that is true. He's been playing a bit more of the 10 for Leeds, but is this too many strikers here? Do they have to start cutting one from the camp and say, hey, one of you guys needs to step up or get the mark? Or are we just bringing in essentially four strikers every camp here? Mike?
I don't have a huge issue with it. I think you bring in your best players. Pepe's not there at the moment. Neither is Balogun, but I still think they edge out some of the other options at the wing. I think this could be indicative of a formation change. Maybe we see that three underneath the striker, and maybe it's not with traditional wingers. Maybe it's a Gio Reyna coming off the right, floating around a bit more. That's what this roster looks like to me.
Yeah, I mean, certainly with a 4-2-3-1, those are more central attacking players on the wings rather than actual wingers. So is that where you see a Gio Reyna out in that position, a Malik Tillman? Obviously, if Mikey Varas is doing that. But Nick, does this also point to kind of what you've been saying about the U.S. men's national team, where that winger depth is shockingly low? Obviously, no Timo Weah due to injury, no Kevin Paredes due to injury. But, I mean, I wouldn't even really say Kevin Paredes is that much of depth. He's not a good prospect still, but
one to watch.
He's still a prospect. He has not made the jump to depth piece for me like a Brendo has. Like I don't have faith in Paredes in a camp. So and what is Weah really giving you? I mean, how much is he helping? I think it's a sign of two very big problems for the United States men's national team attack: lack of depth out wide with wide players, and if you don't have, I mean, if you have four strikers, you don't have one striker. Like any of these four guys, you can tell me start at the 9 for any of these two games, and I'll believe you. So, and honestly, I don't see that pattern changing. I think there's a real possibility that we roll up to 2026 with these same exact four. I'm including Haji in that, being the guys of, okay, who's going to start a striker for this game? And that doesn't really inspire too much confidence.
Yeah, I mean, certainly an interesting roster. Some new names and these rest have allowed other people to have some opportunities. So we'll see what goes on in terms of starting lineups here. Pochettino, we'll see what happens in terms of coaching. Mikey Varas will be on the sideline. That's been completely confirmed. But Pochettino, reportedly by Fabrizio Romano, actually, that's when you know it's really getting close, because we'll have 50 updates by him as it goes. But Fabrizio Romano tweeting out that He is close. The legal terms are all but finished. People are saying that tomorrow he is set to sign the contract. Listen, if U.S. men's national team has not prepared the announcement in the month that they have had since this first came with the verbal agreement, if they have another day to prepare an announcement, what are you doing as a media team? You have had a month to get your graphics together, your wording together. You got to release that thing the second that pen gets off that paper for signing that contract. Let us know. But he could still have a good amount of influence on this camp. Said he's been kind of working behind scenes with the U.S. men's national team. They'll be facing off, though, in what could be his first game in not at the sidelines, but in the stands watching the team against Canada. And Jesse Marsch, the man who a lot of people thought could have been the U.S. men's national team coach, now with Canada, drove them to a Copa America semifinal. Are they, Canada at this point, the clear-cut second in CONCACAF behind the U.S.? Have they surpassed Mexico, you think, Nick?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
They might be
No,
higher.
you can't. You can't say clear cut. You can't say clear cut. They were the clear cut best CONCACAF team at Copa. that was very clear cut. But no, I can't. I don't think you can say they're 100% first. I don't think you can say they're 100% second or they're 100% third. There's an argument to be made, I think, for all three teams, and I would still argue USA first. But if I were to choose, yeah, I'd put them above Mexico.
Yeah. Mike, I mean, they did get to a Nations League final. Obviously, Mexico did as well, both losing to the U.S. Just got to bring that up. But, I mean, Canada is continually sending more players to Europe. Mexico is kind of having a little bit more issues with that, with, their center back, I believe it was Montes, now not even playing for Almira in Spain. And I mean, Canada's sending player after player over to Europe, with Bombido being the most recent, that center back that played so well. Is it talent-wise Canada over Mexico at least?
I think so. My knowledge of Mexico's depth, like within Liga MX, not super robust, so I can't speak about those players. But the players that I'm aware of that are in Europe, especially attacking-wise, heavily favors Canada. Aside from Santi Jimenez and Raul Jimenez on Fulham, if you want to count. Yeah. There's nobody to mention. And Raul is not even a starter on any given day. So it's got to go to Canada. The one Mexican player I'll give a shout out to, Julian Araujo on Bournemouth. That's a good signing from them. And he's a talented dude. Underrated fullback.
Yeah. A good opportunity for him in the Premier League with Bournemouth. That's a good squad to be in.
It's a big jump for him. Yeah.
Yeah. And certainly it doesn't help with your attacking point that Irving Lozano at PSV is approaching a move to MLS. And if that at all mattered, though, he's still being blacklisted from the Mexican national team. So they blacklisted Chicharito. They blacklist Irving Lozano. They seem to be having some issues. And Santi Jimenez is barely starting as well. So there's some issues over there in Mexico. So it does make this Canada matchup with Jesse Marsch, with the talent, which the threat they're posing, quite the game here coming up on September 7th. That is this Saturday. Mike, what's your preferred lineup? Goalkeeper? Are you just fuck it, throw whoever you want in there? And what are you doing with the midfield and attackers here? Because I feel like there are more questions with this roster than others, because we've lost a lot of those locked players due to rest, injury, and no preseasons, all those things.
Generally, I'd like to see a rotated lineup, some new guys tried out in these friendlies. But since it is against Canada, and it's a Jesse Marsch Canada, and they just had a hell of a Copa and we had a stinker, this feels like a must-compete game. We got to come out here to win. Can't be losing against CONCACAF opponents. So we got to start our best lineup. Best lineup for me is still Matt Turner in goal. sure his confidence is low. No good club situation to speak of. He's still our number one until it changes, and it can't change yet. The back line, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, for sure. Left back's a question mark. Right back is Joe Scally. Nick, you want to take the midfield?
I already disagree with your defenders, so keep going.
Okay. Midfield, I'd start Johnny. I'd start Eunice, and I'd start Gio Reyna. Pulisic has to be on one of the wings. Haji Wright goes on my other. And then up top, it's got to be Balogun.
All right. Nick, what changes would you make to that lineup?
I'm expecting to see some sort of 4-2-3-1. So let me just say that. I really want to see
Caleb Wiley at left back, since I didn't give a name.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I was going to say that. I really want to see a 4-2-3-1, which means I really want to see a pivot of Johnny and Eunice, like kind of in front of the back.
Sexy.
I really want to see. I think they have really complementary traits. So I'm really interested in that. I don't want to see Tim Ream at all. What are we doing with Tim Ream, guys? He's past his prime, unfortunately. He's at Charlotte FC, so it's not even like, oh, he's in the Prem anymore. Bring him to camp, fine, but we have to see who's going to be Richards' partner in the 2026 World Cup, and we don't have that much time to do it. Give me Mark McKenzie. Let's see if he has something to offer. If not, then let's just shelf this Mark McKenzie pipe dream. I need to see what he has. I'm fine with Scally. I don't have too much faith in Marlon Fossey. Maybe he plays well, but I'll save that for the New Zealand game. And in goal, I'd like to give Horvath another look, if I'm being honest. Matt Turner's not inspiring confidence. Maybe it hurts his confidence even more, but we just, at this point, it's just throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And if it's Horvath, then great. At least he's, is he playing actually? I don't even know if he's playing. Jesus Christ. So
at Cardiff.
Give me someone.
Not well.
He is at Cardiff?
Well. Yeah, he's just not doing great.
I would just toss him at the wall, whatever, see what happens. And then who'd you say for your three? Johnny, Malik, and who?
I said Johnny, Eunice, and Gio.
Oh, sorry. I meant for the... Yeah, you went 4-3-3. Yeah,
Gallo,
I want to see...
Bully.
I don't want to see Pulley. Sorry, I don't want to see Ballo. Give me Gio, Malik, and Pulley behind Sargent.
I like it. Yeah, I think I could go either way. I wouldn't be upset if I didn't see Balogun and saw Sargent. I also wouldn't be that upset if I did see Balogun. I think he can still work well in this system. I feel like Mount Tillman deserves a shout at a start, but at the same time, I also want to see Pulisic and Wright and Gio. So I still would have Gio, and that Eunice Johnny Cardoso pivot would be.
I really think it would work.
Feed families. I tell you what.
I think it could work. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and I do agree with Nick that I think Tim Ream is a very good addition to have in camp because he is a veteran. He can be that presence in a very young team to calm them down in camp and make sure that they're training right and doing a lot of things right. But I do think there's no real point of starting him in this one. I think you do have to start looking to the future. And is Tim Ream really going to be available for the 2026 World Cup after playing 2 years in MLS? I think you have to give Mark McKenzie the chance here or Austin Trusty the chance here. I lean towards Mark McKenzie. I think he's challenging himself more going to Toulouse rather than Austin Trusty going to the Scottish Premiership. So, yeah, I think Chris Richards, Mark McKenzie, see what it looks like, see if that's a good partnership and run with it. And then, yeah, Caleb Wiley on the left side, I'd be okay with Christopher Lund as well, but Joe Scally on the right. And I think you can do more of the experimenting with New Zealand, with those Marlon Fossies, with those Aiden Morrises, with the, Malik Tillman's getting the start. Just throw them in there when it's not maybe the absolute A team, and you don't need absolutely everything against a New Zealand. But boys, what is one thing you're looking out for in this game? Do you want to see from the team, whether it be tactically, if Pochettino has any type of touch on it, or just from players themselves?
Defensive soundness. because holy shit, the back line was bad in Copa. We looked like we would give up fouls at any given moment. We're getting ran through in the air. We were horrible. So give me a solid backline performance.
Nick?
Yeah, that second center back spot is what I'll have my eyes glued on. But in reality, the one thing I really want to see in this Canada game is Poch in the stands. Like that's the one thing I'm watching for.
Give me that.
Yeah. I think, honestly, one of the things I'm looking for is either Balogun or, I guess, Pepe, but probably most likely Balogun or Sargent to score some goddamn goals and maybe lay a good claim to it. The U.S. actually look good in attack, have some actual attacking play, because I feel like Copa America, the attacking play, even against Bolivia, it was wasteful. Against Panama, I mean, kind of got shot down pretty early due to the red card. And other than a Balogun wonder strike, there wasn't that much. And then Uruguay, it just nothing really materialized that was that crazy. So I just want to see the U.S. have decent attacking play again where they look free-flowing. That's really all I'm looking for. And if Sargent can get off the books at the national level and play like he does at Norwich, god damn it, we'll be in for a happy pod review of this one. But that will be our next pod. Reviewing this one, we will also get you a preview for the New Zealand game, what we can see in that one, because I think there'll be a lot more learning from that one in more of a broad sense. But Mike, final thoughts to close out the viewers here ahead of USA Canada and the international break.
Sean Dyche and Everton, figure it the fuck out. United States Soccer Federation, figure it the fuck out. Barcelona, keep doing what you're doing.
Rafinha. Nick, final thoughts. Close us on out.
Chris Kavanagh better sleep with one eye open, buddy. That's all I'm saying. Up the Gunners.
God. Close it with a threat, why don't you? Until next time. Peace.
I'll kick your ass.